Good Monday morning, everyone. Happy Labor Day, you guys. Oh my gosh. You guys are listening to Author Talk with me, Amy, Russell, Valerie. Our lovely author guest today is Alex, who is local to the small town that I live in, or at least I call it a small town. So he is a local author. But you guys, oh my gosh, what a crazy weekend. One, we had a cold front. We're going to be in like the high 80s today. What? It's going to be fantastic. But with that come allergies, which is currently what I am suffering from. So just no judgment, you guys. I'm suffering from allergies. I'm going to sound nasally. Russell, do not comment on that. Just don't comment on that at all. But this weekend, you guys, I went to my first college football game, one in a really long time, two ever at Kyle Field. And for those of you guys that have followed us for these 9 years, and hopefully you guys know, but if not, I graduated from UTSA. I am a Birds Up Roadrunner fan. I went there, graduated from there. And so I went to support my Roadrunner, my birds. You got to put your birds up. Had nice sequin dress on, you guys. What? I'll post some photos so you guys can see. It's probably the only time you're ever going to see me in like a sequin dress like that at a game. But it turns out, because, I got green hair and the Roadrunners got green hair. So I was full on out in my Roadrunner gear. But other than that, you guys, it was smooth sailing. My kids have been off school. They're off Friday. They're off today. It's just, I'm surviving. I'm coasting.
It's just
I am
awful.
surviving it.
Is
But I mean, there's a reason my shirt says salty with a margarita glass today, okay? And it's only 10 in the morning, you guys. Oh my goodness. But what all did you guys do this weekend? How did it go? Let me know. Who wants to go first and talk about their weekend?
Go,
Valerie, you get to go.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
always get
talk about
nominated.
what margaritas did you have this weekend?
Hold on. I have to say, Amy, I do have a sticker on my car that says Salty Crew. So
I
because
love it.
that's how we roll. Yeah, and we're,
You
we're kind
have
of
to.
beachy people.
I'm
Yeah.
here for it.
So
I'm here for
yeah,
it.
I had a market out in your old neck of the woods at South Shore Harbor by Clear Lake. It was a big
Oh,
Labor Day
fun.
market selling my books, and so that was fun. There's a lot of people there just vacay, for the holiday. And Sunday we had a big family dinner because all the kids were in town. So fun times there, and just kind of chilling today, catching up on a bunch of stuff. You always, it's nice to have a day off to do stuff that you don't have time to do. I'm always having, I don't know. Sorry, I talk too much, Russell.
No, I think you done just the right amount. I'm just giving
Josh would
crap about it.
Josh would say it's a good day for me to get caught up on the laundry, but then I just, keep going. I just keep going. It's one of those things.
Forever. You never get done with it, especially with
No.
kids.
There's no light at the end of the tunnel on that thing. That's just miserable. Miserable. Alex, what did you do this weekend?
Just went out to the different park areas, take some pictures, try to get something for my next photography book that I'm putting out. So just went out there, try to have fun, get a few images and captures that I could enjoy and I can, post and share.
I
Oh, I
love
love
it.
that.
Enjoy the coolish weather. I'm here for it. I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Do you like taking
Russell,
nature
what?
pictures? I'm sorry, do you
Mm.
like taking nature pictures?
Oh yes. Yep.
Me
I
too.
have
He has
two
he
books.
has a photography book.
Yep. I have two of
That's so
them right here. These two, and I have a third one on the way. And that's all my nature photography and positive words.
oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, we're going to talk about those positive works in a little bit. Okay,
Russell, what
so
did
I
you
have
do?
two things to talk about. Number one, barbecue. Uh, I've been in Georgia for 3 years. I miss, wow, I still think South Carolina barbecue is actually better than Texas barbecue. I don't even think they're close. I so missed good Texas barbecue, which you cannot get in the Atlanta area. And so this weekend, we went to get breakfast tacos, something else that is strange in Georgia, uh, the pit room, which has unbelievable Texas barbecue. And I had brisket and egg breakfast tacos. It was the greatest meal of the week for me, which I only eat meat once a week. So usually it is, but it was tremendous. Made my whole day. Number two is uh I must tell you, I've been in Houston. We moved back to Houston 3 months ago, and right now I am missing Georgia weather so much because everyone thinks, just like what before I moved to Georgia, I thought it was hot there just like it is in Houston. It's not. It only has about 3 weeks of Houston hot. The rest of the time, it's in the 80s, the low 80s. At night, it gets down in the 60s. It's only in the 80s about 3 or 4 hours. It's like it's like fall weather most of the summer, even in Georgia. So yeah, I miss that weather this weekend, and
That
I
sounds
need to transit.
terrible, though.
It's wonderful. And you see a change of seasons with the
Mm.
leaves and all that crap. It's great. I need to thank our listeners before we go on to talk about Alex's books. We're top 10% in some podcast channels, and we're very grateful. When we first started on podcast channels, I couldn't find us. We were invisible in the millions of podcast channels. Amy did some things, and when you go to Author Talk now, you find us near the top. Uh, Even I can find us. Amy, where can people find us?
Yeah, you guys, Russell can find us. So therefore you can find us 100%. But my go-to is on Amazon Music, Spotify, Good Pods. If you're an or an Apple user, iTunes, Android, Google Play, that's where you can find us. That's where I look for us. But all you got to do is type in Author Talk, look for the crimson, red, and gold. That will be our show. And it has all of our episodes and seasons on it. Our YouTube channel has all of our videos on it, so you can see me and Valerie be super animated, or when Russell gives me the like evil eye that I was supposed to end the show like 3 minutes ago and I didn't. If you want to see those things, you can come on over there. If you want to comment and engage and ask questions with us, we absolutely love that. We love engaging with you guys live. You can do that over on our YouTube channel, our Facebook group, any one of our social media platforms. You can also do that because we are an open book. But Russell, those fall temperatures sound awful. And I
Why?
am just
Why
a
does it
Texas girl
sound?
through and through. If it's not 100, because if it's not, 88 or higher, I'm one of those that's freezing their ass off. I need
Well,
a
then
blanket, all those things.
it is cold. You do that is true. As a Texan, you're cold all the time, except for those 3 weeks. I do admit that, and it's even stranger uh, in the mountains just north of Atlanta where we live because it's only that warm, like for 3 hours in the morning. It's in the 60s. It doesn't get into the highs and to the high 80s or whatever the summer temperature is going to be to about 12:30 or 1 in the afternoon, and by 3 or 4 it's cooling off again. It's crazy.
Oh,
It's wonderful. Georgia
that sounds
is
awesome.
wonderful. It
Well,
Yeah.
is.
it sounds
Well,
beautiful because you can see the seasons and the leaves change and all those things. But I don't know, you just can't take the Texan out of the Texas girl. It can be 110 outside. I'm going to be like, oh, it's hotter than hell outside. But when it's 70, I'm bundled up. I am one of those. I have heated blankets in my house because it's 68, but I breathe better that way. But I would rather take a really hot day than a 60-degree day. I don't know. My body ain't made for it. I'm just made for steaming, boiling myself weather, I guess, is what I'm
It's
made
like
for.
Alex right now. I don't know what the hell. What are you wearing a felt hat in the summer for? Are you crazy?
Mhm. Yeah.
It's hot.
I always wear the hat. I've worn it
oh,
for
it looks
many, many
good.
years.
It looks good.
It
And
looks hot.
I was thinking about the heat, and I was having like a flashback because when my son used to play football for so many years, and this time of year you'd be sitting out on the stand and the metal bleachers and everything, and I was like, how did we do that? How did we do that? Oh my gosh. But then on the other hand, you got to think like when you're at the end of the season and you're so cold, just it's all you can do. So like you said, Amy, I'd rather just sit there and be hot than freezing to death because you can't You just can't get
Yes.
warm unless you're like my friend who
Yes.
was super smart, and she brought a little baby propane heater or something to the bleachers, and I was like, "You're hardcore. I love that."
That sounds
But
like something I would totally do.
yeah,
But when my daughters played
the
soccer
giant.
for like their one
Ooh,
season, God, that was hot. And then there were ants everywhere. And I'm just not an outdoorsy person. I'm just not. I've gone camping. I've done my time. I don't want no ants on me. I'm not sending no ant, but I'm not that dedicated. Like I love my kids, but I will watch from the car in the in the AC.
oh no,
That's my vibe. That is my vibe,
no,
100%. But whatever,
you're such a
whatever.
girl, baby.
I'm a girl mom, and I don't know if I could survive having boys, to be honest, because I am. We glitter, we AC. That's what we do, 100%. But speaking of kids and stories, Alex, I know that you have a kid story out, and you have
Mhm.
songs that go with it. But on top of that, you have written in literally every other genre except for memoirs, which I know is coming soon.
Mhm.
And so I want to give you guys a backstory on how I met Alex. And then Valerie, I'm going to let you guys take it away. So I love this story. It's the cutest story. So you guys all remember last year when my youngest would go to the car pickup line with me, and she has her friend that we called him Mr. Daniel, and it was the security guard at now they're both of their school, and he would come and talk with her, and we just became friends, and he became friends with Sky. So he came to Sky's birthday party last weekend or 2 weekends ago and brought Alex and his mom. And so they were talking. Alex let me look at all of his books, told me all the stories behind his books, all the books that are to come. And so it's just become this beautiful friendship that has expanded. And so I'm excited. And he is a local author here in Bryan College Station, which I don't get to encounter very often. So I find that even more fantastic. But you guys, he self publishes, which you guys know makes all of us happy in that whole arena. And his covers and everything are beautiful. He's got photography books all the way to science fiction and children's books. So, Valerie, let's get Alex talking about his plethora of books and how his writing journey began.
Okay, yes, let's start with that. Alex, how did your writing journey begin?
Mhm. Well, my writing journey started back basically when I was a kid, and I just got interested in reading, and I read everything I could find. And of course, once I started doing that, I thought I could come up with my own story. So I declared to everyone I was going to be a writer, and everyone told me not to be. Pretty much every time you tell someone you want to do something creative, whether it's a artist or author or a photographer or anything, they'll always tell you no. Everyone says no. Be a doctor. Be a lawyer. Be
Excellent. Thanks.
exactly. So I just kind of like I kept on trying to push that narrative that everyone I have this creative mindset. I want to follow it, and everyone just told me no. And I kept on pushing it until I think after high school. And then I just kind of said, okay, teachers were telling me no and friends were telling me no. So I just said, okay, I'm not going to do anything more. I'm just going to let it go. And I went through college. I went through the military and went and got a good job. And like a decade or so later, I got a chance to try my hand at writing again, and just an online challenge I found. Just write something for a month and see if you can finish it. And by the time I got done, it was like, this is what I love doing. Following these creative ideas and passions and crafting stories out of nothing. So I decided, okay, whoever I was listening to did not understand what I was talking about. This is what brought me joy. This is what brought me excitement. This is what made me happy with my life and what I was doing. So I kept doing it. I published a book right after I turned 40, and after that, it was like, okay, this is what I love doing. I'm going to continue it. So I've been writing and publishing ever since then. And somewhere along the line, I picked up photography, and as I was sharing those works online, I was told someone wanted to see it more, and they said, "Can you put this into a book or in a magazine or something?" So I put it into its own book, and I called that Zarate Zen, and that became one of my first books. That brought out my photography, positive words, things I do like that. But I have since written urban fantasy. I've written science fiction. I did my first children's book, but it's for all ages. It's a pet poetry book, and I got that one out last year, and that's called Positive Pets. And this year I just released Drake's Orb, my first sci-fi book.
Cool. So what was your first book?
First book would have been Linked. That was a book that was, I was told, don't write anything that doesn't have some dark, storyline to it. And I was like, I don't know why I would want to put that, but I was like, okay, well, you know, we've seen enough in the world that it's like, okay, I have plenty of fuel for that. So I went ahead and I wrote it, and it was supernatural. Of a little boy finds a kitten that bestows powers to him, and I wanted to keep him rooted as in reality as much as possible. So it's the ability to teleport and to see people's thoughts, not to hear thoughts, but to see what they're thinking. And that would kind of toss any kind of, okay, cats are talking, and telling him things that, well, what do you know? How do you know what the cat's saying? Well, images are the way they convey what they're talking to one another. And he finds images from people around him. He finds images like embedded in objects, which is kind of like playing along the idea of the supernatural and psychics who touch something and they can feel something. But I thought, oh, he can see things that are in objects, so the stronger the image, the clearer what he can see, and his ability to teleport to areas like that. And that just started with a little. It started with him as a little kid, and
I was going to say, so since you've been on this journey so how long ago was that first book? Like 5 years, 6 years?
more like 10.
10. Me too. What was your first hurdle, you think, coming into the publishing industry?
First hurdle would have been just to finish the book. When I first wrote it, for me, it was like pulling teeth. I hadn't written in so long, so many years had gone by, that I thought, oh, I was just going to jump back into it. I was forcing myself to try to produce the next word and the next sentence for 2 out of the 4 weeks that I had to complete this challenge. And right about the third week when that started, finally, it's like the doors opened in my head, and I finally accessed all the inspiration and all the thoughts I had of creating stories. And suddenly it's like, oh, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know what's going on the character. So I finished it, and I was just writing like a madman till the end of the month, and I finished it and got through it. But starting again after so long, that was the hardest thing.
I agree. What is your process of writing? Do you go with your concept and then pull the characters apart, or do you I have a character in mind and then develop the story around your character?
Usually I have some kind of a scene or scenario, something that sparks my attention, and I start thinking about, okay, if this happened and this character was facing this type of challenge, what would have brought him to that? And it's not until later I think, well, how can I get him out of that? So things that happen, I kind of put this no-win scenario and throw it into the character, and then see how I can bring them out, whether it's with their own ingenuity or friends that come in, or something else that I can put in that would provide a little twist on the story. And I think in my latest urban fantasy book, one of the neatest things was my editor told me that by the time she was getting to the end of the book, she had no idea what was about to happen. She said he's been doing so many stories and editing for so long. She knew everything that was going to happen because so many people provide hints along the way, and all my characters had so many different perspectives as they were coming to this big climax of the story. She could not predict what was going to happen, and I said, well, I gave you all the elements in there, but by the time you get to the end, you'll see they all come together. And it was a, but by the time she said she had to read it a couple times, because when she got to the end, she was too invested in the story and she wanted to see what happened. And then once she got through it, then she had to go back and then edit.
I like that too when I read a book and I'm like, man, I wish I would have seen that clue. I wish and I will go back to and try to like denote myself. Like, why did you see that coming? Because you think you have it figured out and then you get sidetracked and then you go back, you're like, oh, that was the clue. Um, do what do you think too now that you've been able to produce so many? How many books do you have actually?
I have 12.
12. That's amazing. In 10 years. That's amazing. So, what do you feel like is your biggest hurdle now? I guess since you've got the expertise, I guess, going forward and in so many genres.
Right now, I would say the biggest challenge is just to try to put everything out that I have in my list of books that I'm putting out there, because I'm going across multiple genres. I got my photography book, I got the urban fantasy book, and there's another one coming out on that one. The science fiction book, it has been released, and there's more. I want to turn that into a trilogy to continue that story. I have
Mhm.
another. It's a combination urban and sci-fi book, and I have, like Amy said, I have a memoir type book that's going to be my philosophy, my outlook on the world, and another book that's going to be dedicated just to creatives, people uh, who are, actors, dancers, singers, everything, and just an encouraging book to kind of like keep people who have been discouraged over the years onto the right track and right mindset to find your tribe, find your path, and don't listen to the naysayers. And that book is two books that out there. I'm like, I want it up now. I have so many people I'm going to give it to, but it's
Yes.
just it's a process, and we're kind of like stuck on that process. You can't finish everything at once. You go through it slowly and release it as the time comes.
Yeah, I don't know if you have like I have a to-do list here and then I'm like, which one is the priority one? Do you have like something like that to do when you're writing?
I have a kind of a task list, but it because I do so many things, it's kind of like, okay, I'm doing this as much as I can. Once I get to a point where I'm kind of getting fatigued on this, science fiction and space battles and pirates and whatnot. Okay, let me drop that for a little bit. Let me go do my nature photography, like going out to the park and taking pictures, and kind of get myself leveled again so I can write the positivity, motivation, and then jump back, go into either my creative inspiration or go into
Mhm.
the motivation or urban fantasy, whichever of those that appeals to me at the time. But every one of them has its own place. That way, I'm not burning out on any one. I can just step
Yes.
back and go somewhere else and keep myself going.
Yeah, I feel like you have like kind of like me, I have like a Rolodex of things. I'm like, okay, don't do that, but I can do this and I can do that right now and I can do that. Do you feel like you're being inspired constantly by just the world around you, or just is just
Mhm.
ideas coming from other places, like people you know, or things you read, or what?
A little of both, a little of everything actually. Whenever I'm hanging around with people, every friend I have, every acquaintance I make, going to networking events or meeting people, you get to see what makes them excited and what drives them, and that inspires me as well. And whenever I go to a park and I'm taking pictures, it's all nature photography, so I try to go out there and zoom in on a bird flying overhead, or take a close-up picture of flowers or birds or anything that's out there, and that also inspires me. It makes you look at the world in a different way every time you're outside. So
Mhm.
for
Were
me,
you, were
inspiration
you
is
doing
everywhere.
photography? Were you doing photography before you started doing this?
When I first started, no. When I gave it up is when I started dabbling in photography. It was just basically because so many images I would find online that I liked were covered in watermarks. And I was like, I need a good picture of myself. Everyone's got cameras. I got a camera. I'm going to go out there and take a couple of landscape pictures just to have those available. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do that every few days and take a picture. And I would see these great sunsets and amazing images, and I'm like, I really love doing this. And I figured out how to get the best pictures, get the lighting, and the golden
Mhm.
hour just as the sun starts going down and all the colors flash in the night sky and in the sunset and in the horizon. Those are the best things. So that became a second passion along with my writing.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Have you had any? What is the feedback on some of even your nature work?
It's been very good. I've actually gotten quite a few personal messages telling me that they're looking forward to every post I put out there because those are, encouraging and motivating. Everything I do is on that is to share the need to go out and enjoy the day and, connect with other people, connect with nature, take a breath, don't let the grind get to you too much. And more people have started connecting with me on that than any of the other books, which is why I continue it. Because it was going to be a one and done, put out some of my nature photography and then stop. And no, I have so many people continually talking about it as I post that I'm just
Mhm.
second book and third book is coming. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome. What has been the hardest genre for you to embrace?
hardest genre probably the fantasy because when I started, I thought, okay, fantasy is just, you know, you know, powers and abilities and supernatural and things. And when I tried to put it with my own spin on it, which was keeping it in reality, don't put a world of superheroes. Just put it. Okay, it's a little kid, traumatized, lost a parent, trying to get over his struggles, and putting in that emotional depth to it. That was the hardest part because it's like, okay, now you got to go into what causes people trauma, what causes people struggle, what sets people back, and bullies in
Mhm.
school, of course, for kids. So that was like, okay, I got to delve into the things that were, hard growing up and things I see in the world out there that kids have to deal with. So that became kind of the hardest part because I had to keep it grounded in reality while maintaining that supernatural part of it.
Mhm. Growing up, were you a big reader?
Oh yeah, I read everything I could find. Um, I I remember my dad once told me, do I really need all these books? And I had a shelf full of books from any genre and every genre, and I said, oh, I read them all, and he said, you haven't read them all, and he picked up a book and how about this one? And I started telling him the story about the book, and okay, how about this one? And I started telling the story about that. So for me, it was like, yeah, every book I would find, everything I would get, I would love to just pick up and just read from cover to cover. For me, the stories were the best escape into worlds that you could never get to when you're a kid and just stuck in your routines of school and home.
Oh, yes, I agree. Russell, did you have some questions?
Yeah, I can see why Amy became friends with Alex.
Yes.
What a uh, what a soul! And I identify with a lot of things you say, Alex. Like when you were a kid, your parents not believing how much you read and that sort of thing. I totally get that. That's from my. I was from that world too, so I totally understand. Uh, you have subtly said this, and Valerie, you did an excellent job interviewing him. Good job. But uh, Alex, there a lot of people that listen to us are you before you wrote that first book that you loved writing, you wanted to write, but everyone had told you not to. What do you have to say to those people?
To those people, like the book I'm going to be putting out, that's going to be encouraging other creative people. The most important thing is you do not listen to anyone who does not have a passion of their own that they're following. Because when you have a passion of your own, if you're a writer and you meet up with an artist, you share that passion for something that's you have to bring out of your imagination and put out into the world. If you're talking to somebody who has none of that, they're immediately going to tell you, no, don't do that. Go, be an accountant, be a banker, be a doctor, whatever, because that is the only way that they see that's a way forward. But when you have that inside of you and you have that urge and that inspiration that drives you, I always tell people to find people like you. Go online, go on to Facebook, go on to, you know, Instagram, anywhere where people are posting these things and sharing them. You know, find the people who are like you, the ones who are out there in the world, putting them out there, or at least just following their passion. You need that encouragement to keep on going because
Mhm.
when I was younger, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have anything like that. So
Mhm.
when you're discouraged by everybody, you take it to heart and you kind of realize, well, there's nobody on my side. It wasn't until I went back into it and the world had computers and smartphones and everything. Now I can actually go out there and connect with so many people and be able to fuel my own passion by going ahead and telling other people what I've been doing, see what they've been doing, and we can kind of share in our inspirations and our drives. Anyone who's on there, I always say, don't listen to the people who don't inspire you or encourage you. If they don't have their own inspiration, then you know, don't share yours with them. That's your passion. That makes you happy.
So, Alex, who's been your inspirations?
For me, it's always been other, creative people. Ray Bradbury. Um, I saw him speak live when I was, I think I was in my 20s, and he was probably one of the key people that inspired me to start following my writing again, because he was, you know, in his 80s, or I think it was in his late 80s, and he was wheelchair bound. His vision was going, and he talked with more passion than anyone I had ever met in my life. He was so excited with everything he was doing and what he was still doing in his life that I just kept thinking that I have never known anyone like that. And he's another writer. He's another person who follows his creative passion. So I
Mhm.
immediately was like, I got to try to get back into this. And when I got the chance, I took it and I realized, yeah, I should have kept it from the very beginning. Yeah, don't listen
Mhm.
to the people who don't like you. Find people like that. I remember I would read comics as a kid. Stan Lee, who created all these Marvel comics, he had that same passion. He was always excited when he talked about what he did, and no matter what anyone told him and tried to discourage him, he kept on going. He had that drive that just would not give up. Uh,
Mhm.
How do you you live in a small town? I hear a little back sound, so I apologize. How do you plan on promoting or marketing yourself living where you do in a smaller town?
everything I do is for promotion is social media and
Mhm.
look up Alex Zarate just in general. You'll find me on every single social media platform out there.
So
You
it
know, it's
doesn't matter where you live when you're on social media.
it doesn't. You can post anywhere to any area.
Okay. So tell us all your social media places so listeners can find you, and tell us about some of the feedback you've got on those social media.
Let's see. I'm gonna look right
Face,
now.
yeah, Facebook, Instagram,
Where on
TikTok.
Facebook, Alex?
Look up Alex G Zarate. There's
Okay.
very few like. Um, you'll see my logo. It's me wearing my hat.
Your
Uh,
felt hat, not a straw hat in the summer.
that
You're crazy, man.
that's right. Provides the best shade too in the sun.
Anyway,
Yeah,
keep
but
going.
oh yeah. I put post on TikTok. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm just about everything out there. The I was saying Twitter X. It's called X now. Facebook. I have several accounts that I dedicate to either my art or my writing. Each one of them I post on. I try to put as many things out there as possible. The um, you know the videos I've been putting are usually associated with um, either the books or some of the stuff I've done in recording, and those also go on to YouTube. And I've done some reels for that. It's pretty much all across the board.
Okay, I
I
got to
shoot.
ask you a real question. Okay.
Sure.
And the first part of the question was going to be what kind of results have you got from your Amazon sales? But that leads me to the real question, which is not that, which is why do you do this? And what is your goal in your production of what you write? Because so those would be two different answers for me. And I think they may be for you. Alex, what
hmm
results are you getting? What is your goals from writing?
my goal is to be able to share enough of my books, enough of my works that you know, I will be able to make a living off of it. Because even with all these
Mhm.
books that I've got, you know, every artist, every writer will tell you it's always a struggle. You know, you're fighting for attention with the people who are spending millions of dollars on advertising out there, and you're down with your own little budget that you're trying to share. So I
Mhm.
try to overcome that by putting across all platforms. Um, I get a lot of feedback. I'm still working on turning that into sales. Once that happens, it's like my goal is always to make a living off of it. You know, being able to do this all the time, just to share my passion with the world and share everything I have out there.
Okay, Amy, what is one suggestion you have either already given Alex or you could give Alex? Because there I bet there's 1,000 people listening to this that either are where Alex is or wish they had not listened to all the negative naysayers and been like Alex. So,
Mhm.
what's one suggestion you could give those 1,000 people and Alex?
Yeah, so I had actually, I mean, I've talked to Alex a little bit, but what I had said was because he has such a plethora of books and such a wide variety, all the way from nonfiction to fiction, sci-fi, kids. So I told him to look into going to the smaller Comic Cons, not to focus on the big ones, right? Because the big ones, those tables are so expensive, and if you're just diving into the water, you don't really want to spend that, right? But your smaller venues are going to be cheaper tables. They're going to market the heck out of it because they want people to come to those, right? Because it's new and up and coming. And so you're more likely to break even, but it puts you in front of your target market for one or multiples of your genre, right? Because at Comic Con, you're going to have fantasy lovers, sci fi lovers, all of that. But you're going to have those and kids, right? And someone like me, if I go, now, to be honest, I'm not a big fantasy reader, right? I like the dark, psychological, disturbed stuff. But if I was a fantasy reader, because I do go to Comic Cons and you had children's books and my girls are with me, I'm probably going to buy them a book, right? Or if I go and say that like I'm a photographer or I enjoy beautiful landscapes and pictures of just outdoors and nature, which I actually do, especially with motivational quotes. That's kind of my thing. I would buy your book even though I'm at a Comic Con, right? So you appeal to a mass audience that is going to fit multiple genres if you write in multiple genres. So, I mean, that's the advice I gave Alex, is the advice I'd give anybody. Every city is going to have one or two
They're going to have more
smaller
than one or
ones.
two, and
Well, they're
Mhm.
going
there's going
to,
to
yeah.
be and they're going. He lives in College Station, basically halfway between Houston and the Austin San Antonio. He could go to one every weekend.
Sure.
You
Yes.
can, yeah. Because I mean, you have the big one, right? Like of course, you have the San Diego one, but you have the big one in Houston. Austin has a big one. San Antonio has a big one, right? So I mean, you can go to your
Bear
big ones.
County,
Yeah.
San Marcos. I
Mm-hmm.
post I post one rock one along the coast where they're having a big uh Comic Con like that next year. They're already advertising for authors that won't boost. And we posted that a couple of days ago on the author talk page on Facebook.
Mhm.
So you could go to one. That's a great suggestion, Amy.
Yeah, you gotta be creative with it. But when you write in multi genres, it makes it you need to get in front of people that enjoy that. And Comic Cons is one way to do that. Especially smaller ones. They're less expensive. People are gonna go to them and they're gonna, look to spend money. Then you didn't have to invest a whole lot of money into it. So that's what I
Hmm.
would say. And that is what I told Alex when he was here. So just
Alex, you need to listen to Amy. I do.
Russell does. So, Alex, food for thought or just backstory. Russell writes psychological murder mystery suspense. Valerie has children's books that she writes. She's written one of the cutest ones ever, which is The Donut Tree. And I absolutely love that. My
Amy
daughter
always
went
talks
to
about that.
school. I do. I love that one. My daughter went to school as Sprinkles. And so it's one of my
Yeah.
ultimate favorite books. So you are among like-minded authors. I'm the only one on here that hasn't written a book, but everybody knows that. I live vicariously through you guys because I know all the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into it. And I just like to have the party side and market. That's my shindig is what I like to do. But Alex, what can we expect to see from you in the future? How far off in the future? What is coming up next for you?
The next one coming up is the third book in my Zarate Zen nature photography series. I got these two here, and there's a third one coming out. And right after that, it's going to be my book on my philosophy, and it's called The Plus Mindset. And that's just adding to your life, adding to your joy, adding to your health, your knowledge,
And not
your
listening to people, right, Alex?
it's going to be trying to help people to connect and overcome all this negativity in the world. I'm of course going to be doing a continuation of Drake's Orb, the sci-fi book. That's gonna be a trilogy, and I have one more of my urban fantasy that's going to wrap up the trilogy for that one. And of course, because I have the positive pet one, um, people were asking me if I could do another one, and I said sure. And it's going to be positive pups, and instead of having a variety of pets, it's going to be all the different type of dog breeds, and just put a poem for each one and colorful images and more encouragement for everybody. Oh, and there's your positive
So,
pup.
Alex,
Yeah,
Alex,
there's
what,
Rita. I love
Rita,
Rita.
Alex, what format do your books come in? Is it Kindle and print and everything, or?
Yep, it's everything. It's ebook, it's paperback, hardback, and for the stories and the different sci-fi and urban fantasy, I've opted into the Amazon audio book that's being done with AI, so it gets to have an actual human sounding voice read it, and I've actually seen good results with that one. It's nice to
That's
have an
awesome.
actual audio book available for stuff you got on there.
It's a lot of just yeah, that's a lot of work behind the scenes for you. I know it is. That's a lot. So that's congratulations on all that.
Yes,
Especially
thank you.
12 books, my goodness.
Yep, I'm not stopping anytime soon.
Yes. Me neither.
Nice. Well, yeah, we always love to hear that. People that get bit by the writing bug, they tend to not leave and stop writing, which is fantastic. One thing Alex isn't telling you is he does have a YouTube channel that his children's book, Positive Pets, that
Yep.
actually has music and it will read it to you in like a lullaby music. So I actually put that on the other night for my kids, and it was just fantastic. Because I don't know if you guys YouTube has now become such a beautiful thing because they have like the good night animals, and it's just like this British guy that's like, good night, lion. And like the lion dances around and then goes to bed. And it's like, I don't know, it puts me to bed. And so this is kind of the filler for that. So he does have a YouTube channel. So make sure you go out and check it out. Follow him on there. All of his social medias is Alex G. Zarate. Is that right? That was the whitest way I've ever said that.
Yes, I found it, and your pictures are beautiful on Instagram. I'm just got a chance to like scroll through it really fast, but they're beautiful.
Yeah, and the YouTube channel that I have for the Positive Pets book is Positive Pets, the number 4, and the letter U, and that'll just bring you into all the ones. I put out just some general pet songs, and I've been putting music to the poems, which is actually fairly easy when you think about it. Every song is already kind of a poem.
Folks, I have to go. Rita says she has an emergency, and I can tell she's not lying.
Bye, Rita. Just in time. Bye,
Bye.
Russell. Well, you guys, this has been a fantastic Monday, a fun conversation. But we hope that you all have a wonderful Labor Day, a safe Labor Day. So be safe out there. Don't get too crazy, you guys, on Labor Day. Enjoy the cooler weather. Have a great week, you guys. And until next Monday, bye for now, everybody.